Hello and welcome to AMS2 Hot Lap Car Reviews, and today we are doing the shootout between the V10 and the V8 Formula 1 cars in Automobilista 2. Here we are at Hockenheim, V10 on the left, V8 on the right, and the V8 can take that opening corner absolutely flat out. Most definitely has got an increased downforce over the older V10. The V10, however, seems to have much more stability under braking, more powerful brakes, and better traction out of the bends. But these appear to be nearly neck and neck, with the V8 currently having a slight edge. We aren't using DRS in this, we're leaving it purely up to the power plants, so there is no aerodynamic cheating going on from this V8. Definitely felt the difference in and out of that hairpin on the V10. Definitely able to brake later and get on the power earlier. Again, coming through there, the V10 is most definitely more composed, but this is close, much closer than I expected it to be. I thought the more modern machinery would be taking an advantage. The sound of the V10 though, modern or otherwise, for me that is the sound of Formula 1. Here we come into the final complex section, round the last bend on the sweet curve, and it looks very tight, and the V10 takes it by just over 0.2 of a second. Having driven both of these cars without really looking at the times too closely, I'm really surprised that they were as close time-wise as they are. The V10 is the much easier car to drive, it's less twitchy, it's more stable, and those Bridgestone tyres appear to give it a lot more traction for stopping as well as for getting the power down. Obviously the V10 is helped by that traction control, but for this particular event I turned it down, not completely off, but turned it down quite a lot. In comparison, the V8 is quite a twitchy car. It's very interesting how the difference in the engines help play the characteristics of the car. The V8 is very revvy, you need to get the revs up for the car to actually work. Whereas the V10 is really trying to encourage you to short shift and use the torque and the traction to get you flying out of those bends. These are very different handling cars, which surprise me a lot considering they're both modern Formula 1 cars. If I was to drive one, I'd pick the V10, but they are both incredibly quick. One thing that I did mention earlier on in the video is that there was no usage of DRS during the making of this, because I wanted to ensure that the V8 didn't get an unfair aerodynamic advantage. However, in order to make sure that the power plants in full were used, I did use the Kerr's energy recovery system in order to boost the V8 out of certain corners. And in all fairness, it did need it, as the engine was so peaky that if you didn't get the revs up, boost helped with that, you could have been sort of sluggish out of some of the tighter corners. Now, I believe the biggest difference in the handling between these cars is the longer wheelbase and those Bridgestone tyres. The Pirellis have been known to be quite edgy with regards to their handling characteristics, and the shorter wheelbase of the 2010 Red Bull style car does make the car feel a little bit more on edge, whereas the V10 was stable from start to finish.